Okay, so imagine this picture. 3,000 beepers.
Wow.
All exploding at the same time.
Oh, my.
But not with just a beep.
Yeah.
Like with an explosion.
Yeah.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie, like a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, crazy.
But this actually happened during the recent conflict between Israel and Hezbollah.
Wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to figure out how thousands of beepers given to Hezbollah fighters could just detonate like that, causing just chaos in the middle of a war zone.
Right in the middle of a war zone.
To help us kind of unpack this bizarre event,
absolutely, we
have an expert in radio communication and security with us.
Looking forward to this.
It's great to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This
is definitely one of those kind of head scratcher moments. You know, you got to wonder, was this like some next level cyber attack, or was it like a classic spy move gone wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
That's what we're here to figure out. Yeah. So before we kind of dive into the theories, can you just give us a quick rundown of like what actually happened here? Okay. What do we know for sure?
So basically during the conflict, a huge number of beepers that were being used by Hezbollah fighters just blew up all at the same time.
Simultaneously,
Simultaneously, like the exact trigger for these explosions is still kind of a mystery.
Yeah.
But the event itself is very well documented.
Right. So let's talk about that cyber attack theory.
Sure.
Because early on, the internet was just like buzzing with speculation that this was like some
high-tech
remote,
like battery hack.
Yeah.
Can you do this?
Well, and so you spoke to David about this.
Right.
And he kind of shut that down, didn't he?
He did, and pretty convincingly, I thought. Like, it sounded like it's not
really possible or very likely.
Yeah, he was pretty clear about that. He was like, causing a battery to explode that forcefully and on that scale, remotely.
Yeah.
It's just next to impossible with those kinds of devices.
Especially these devices.
Those
are pretty basic.
Yeah, they're pretty basic. They're not like...
Not internet connected?
No internet connection to exploit.
Nothing like that.
Plus, there is some evidence that points to more like physical tampering.
Right.
Like they actually found,
explosives. Feed to the devices.
So less like the Matrix and more like old school.
Yeah, old school espionage. Something like that.
So if we're kind of ruling out hackers in hoodies, what is the most likely scenario here?
The main theory is supply chain sabotage.
Okay.
Meaning somewhere between the factory where these beepers were made and the fighters who ended up using them.
Someone messed with them.
Okay, wait.
And rigged them to explode.
Are we saying that like they were built with bombs inside from the start, or...
That's a good question.
Or did they get like intercepted and altered along the way?
It could be either, honestly.
Really?
It could be either like maybe there was a compromised factory.
Okay.
Or someone on the inside, slipping explosives into the production line.
Oh, wow.
Or it's possible that the beepers were like snatched during shipping or while they were being stored and then tampered with.
Okay.
The problem is the supply chain is so complex.
Yeah.
Like with multiple companies and countries involved.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack to figure out exactly where the manipulation happened.
This is feeling less like a Michael Bay film and more like a John le Carré novel.
Oh, that's a great...
With layers of intrigue and mystery.
That's a great comparison,
Yeah.
And you know what adds another layer of intrigue to this whole thing? The beepers themselves.
What do you mean? What's so special about these beepers?
Well,
I thought they were just your run-of-the-mill pagers.
Well, they're not the beepers you might remember from like the 80s.
Okay.
The model they were using is actually quite popular with radio enthusiasts.
Oh, really?
It's known for being tough.
Okay.
Having good range.
Okay.
And operating on radio frequencies, which are generally thought to be more secure.
Than mobile phone signals.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So Hezbollah picked these beepers because they thought they were super secure.
Right.
And then this happens.
Yeah.
That's some serious irony.
The irony is definitely not lost here.
Yeah.
It really highlights the fact that radio communication, even in our like super digital world, is still a big deal.
Right.
Especially for the military and in emergencies.
Yeah.
David really emphasized that.
Yeah.
He said that in situations where other communication systems go down or can be tapped into.
Right.
Radio can be the most reliable option.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite as outdated as people might think.
Yeah, okay, so let's dig a little deeper into this whole idea of radio and why it's still so relevant today.
Okay.
Especially given this event
yeah.
that we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it's fascinating how something we think of as outdated, you know, like radio,
right,
can suddenly become such a critical vulnerability.
Mm.
And thinking about it, this whole beeper incident,
yeah,
it kind of makes you question, you know, the lines we draw between cyber warfare and more traditional tactics.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely blurs the lines.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The scale of this attack.
Right.
Taking out thousands of devices at once.
Yeah.
That's unlike anything we've ever really seen before. Oh. But as David pointed out, the idea of using everyday gadgets as weapons isn't entirely new.
Right.
He mentioned a case from back in 1996.
Oh, wow.
Where a Hamas bomb maker was killed by a rigged mobile phone.
Oh, wow. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that something as ordinary as a phone could be turned into a deadly weapon.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other seemingly harmless devices could be targeted in the future.
That's the chilling question this whole incident raises, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It forces us to broaden our understanding of cybersecurity. Like, we can't just focus on protecting our computers and networks anymore.
Right.
We need to be thinking about the security of all kinds of technology,
even those that seem low-tech or outdated.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just about firewalls and antivirus software anymore. It's about thinking outside the box, or maybe even inside the toaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Considering how everyday object
can be exploited.
Absolutely.
But let's kind of bring it back to this specific incident. Yeah. What does this mean for Hezbollah in the long run?
Yeah.
I mean, beyond the immediate damage of losing all these beepers.
Well, this goes way beyond just replacing some busted gadgets.
Right.
Hezbollah now has a damaged communication infrastructure.
Right.
Which is a huge blow in the middle of a conflict.
Yeah, especially in the middle of a conflict.
And you can imagine the paranoia that's created among their fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, who can you trust?
Right.
When the device you're supposed to use to stay in contact could literally explode in your hand.
I bet there's a ton of suspicion and distrust.
Oh, absolutely.
Brewing within their ranks right now.
Yeah, it has to have a significant impact on their operations.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to one of David's key takeaways.
Okay.
Modern cybersecurity strategies need to consider every single aspect of technology.
We can't just focus on the obvious digital targets.
It's like the old saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Exactly.
And in today's world, that weak link could be lurking anywhere.
It could be anywhere, yeah.
We tend to get so fixated on the digital realm.
Right.
But this beeper incident
proves that
even devices that seem disconnected from the internet can be exploited.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's a wake-up call.
It is.
We live in a world where everything is interconnected in some way.
Yeah.
And that means security needs to be approached from all angles.
Right.
Not just the digital one.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it is a lot to think about.
This deep dive has been wild.
Yeah, it really has.
Who knew a humble beeper could become such a powerful weapon?
Yeah, it really makes you realize how sophisticated intelligence operations have become. Like, to pull this off, they had to infiltrate and manipulate a complex global supply chain.
Yeah.
That level of planning and execution.
Yeah. Is both impressive and a little bit terrifying.
It really is.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what's next. Like, if they can weaponize a beeper, what's stopping them from targeting other everyday objects? I mean, could we see exploding toasters or, garage doors that suddenly malfunction in the middle of a critical operation?
That's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
And not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
I mean, in an interconnected world, the potential attack surface is vast.
Yeah.
It's a chilling thought, but it highlights the need for kind of a paradigm shift in how we approach security.
So how do we even begin to defend against these kinds of unpredictable tactics?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems like we're always playing catch-up, reacting to the latest threat instead of getting ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he can't just be reactive?
No, we can't just be reactive.
We need to anticipate these threats.
Okay.
Understand the motivations and capabilities of those who might use them.
So those who might use them, yeah.
It's about thinking like our adversaries.
Oh.
Identifying vulnerabilities before they do.
So time to dust off that old copy of The Art of War and start thinking strategically about everyday objects.
Uh-huh. Maybe not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, this incident really emphasizes the need for a more holistic approach to security.
Right.
One that goes beyond the digital realm and considers the physical, the human, the psychological aspects of our interconnected world.
Wow. So yeah. Well, I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about today.
Yeah, I think so.
We uncovered a seemingly simple device turned into a complex weapon, explored the murky world of intelligence operations, and raised some serious questions about the future of warfare and security.
For sure.
It's enough to make you want to unplug everything. Right.
And retreat to a remote cabin in the woods.
A digital detox might not be a bad idea every now and then.
Yeah.
But even then, complete isolation is no longer a guarantee of safety in our interconnected world. We're all part of the network, for better or for worse.
It's true. There's no escaping the network.
Not really, no.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
The next time you pick up a seemingly harmless device, take a moment to consider its potential.
Yeah.
Both good and bad.
Both good and bad, that's right.
In a world where everything is connected, the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary is becoming increasingly blurred.
It really is.